Welcome back. I absolutely just caught it and I can't even believe it. Even in my own research, I just missed it. The biggest buyer of bonds right now, the people who finance supposed the American dream, by the way, which is total fake. The concept of the American dream was wrapped around freedom to move from A to B, which you can't. I get pulled over all the time for nothing because they're just checking you out. It's amazing to me. So I totally understand how they feel in some of the inner cities getting harassed. Don't worry, we get harassed too on the outside. But it's not real. They're selling our bonds, our debt. They're not allowing us to continue this debt finance dream. So who's doing it? We know for a fact they were making the banks do it, but they needed more money. They needed more people to finance this atrocity of an expenditure, a government out of control. 1.36 trillion local brokerage accounts. Think about that, brokerage accounts. Now, how is that? I'm not buying bonds. You want to bet? I remember doing this in television a year ago when it happened. Look at your statements. All of you that have what they call money market funds. We all have money market funds, right? In those statements, those brokerage accounts. It's where you're not buying a stock or a bond and you just have it sitting in currency. Supposedly in currency, and it's called a money market. So it's a savings account and it's just sitting in currency, so I feel good. It's not at risk. Folks, if you notice, the money markets are all gone. There is no such thing as a money market account anymore. It's now called a government reserve account, cash reserve account. They're fooling you, remember, brainwash psyop? They're fooling you saying government cash reserve account. Make you think it's cash currency, but it's not. Because if you actually read the prospectus of what the money market account really is now, the government cash reserve account really is, it's 90+% invested in U.S. Treasuries. So the foreign nations who traditionally were buying our debt, financing our supposed American dream, are now net sellers of that debt smartly. I would be. I wouldn't hold a bond for nothing if I were anyone, because it's fake and it's only backed up by the bullet in the gun. But they've conditioned the American economic system to now finance the very government. Really? Look at this. Who owns the 21.9 trillion in debt? Red, purple, and green. U.S. institutions, individuals, Federal Reserve, and U.S. government entities. That's right. The government prints money out of thin air and then gets their own government to then buy it. Think about it. I'm going to stick this on a copy machine, and then I can't go there with this absurdity. It almost makes me crazy that it's even done. Our own government buys our own fake printed money, and institutions, individuals, brokerages. Folks, we are being bamboozled. Our way of life is absolutely unsustainable. I get the fact of why they're flipping out on the left towards socialism, because it is hard out there. It's hard to make ends meet. Even families of 4 or 5, even if both are working. Once you do your taxes and then the inflation on the goods, it's hard. What used to be middle class is now not middle class. And they're financing this on your back that you have no idea is happening. It exists. Most people don't even know that the government cash reserve account exists. So what you think is currency sitting in your brokerage firm is not. It's U.S. Treasuries. So they've been taking money out of the U.S. individual American sovereign person's money market account and forcing it to buy government bonds. That's who's financing this expansion. Well, right now, coin demand is at a 5-year high. Bar demand, rock solid. Highest demand since 2013. Surging in gold and mainly silver. In our world, gold in the central. Gold's price since then has gone up 15% to almost 20%. They have been systematically taking up the gold physical in the world. Central banks have. 2018, the second highest year of central bank buying on record, mind you. You think that would be 2008, 10, right? 12? No. Just now, last year, second highest on record. Large pool of central banks sought gold for its diversification benefits. Pushing down demand, highest since 1971 when this whole charade started. Central banks are hoarding physical gold. They made it a tier 1, meaning equivalent to currencies and treasuries just a few years ago. Be careful trusting gold. I know it's still precious metal and it's still our money, but I don't trust that when they can take it. This is where we, the people, will be protected. It's industrial. They can't take it because we need it for everything we do industrially. That is so undervalued and manipulated. Central banks are buying gold. The ratio silver to gold is as high as it's ever been at 82, wandering. It will come down, my industry experts say, eventually to 10 to 1. So gold doesn't even have to move. Silver will be 130 an ounce eventually because supply is not there. So the central banks are diversifying. China is taking up the inventories. The East is taking our physical assets away from the West. It's time we, the people, be diversified at least. If you're pulling out of the stock market, start getting very serious about diversifying into physical, not paper, precious metals. Cornerstone is a phenomenal company. They can educate you on Fire Kingdom. Until next week, I'm going to get into these quotes and wait until you see what some of our fathers had said and how true it has become. God bless each and every one of you. Catch you next time.